You know that feeling when your mind just won't stop? One moment you're replaying a conversation from earlier, the next you're worrying about tomorrow's to-do list. And then out of nowhere you remember something embarrassing from years ago. Your thoughts feel scattered, chaotic, like they're bouncing in every direction at once. Maybe you've had days like that recently. You make a plan, and then one small thing goes wrong and everything unravels. You're trying to hold it all together, but it feels like every time you move one step forward, three random things push you back. Your emotions swing, your focus slips, your goals keep shifting. And somewhere in the middle of it all, you start wondering, why can't I get together like everyone else seems to? Here's what I want to tell you. That chaos you feel inside isn't proof something's broken. It's actually part of how life works. And science has something incredible to say about it. It's called chaos theory. Now, I promise I won't go textbook on you. But in simple terms, scientists discovered that what looks like total randomness often has hidden patterns. And they found that tiny shifts, so small you might not even notice them, can create massive, beautiful transformations across the universe. You've probably heard of the butterfly effect. A butterfly flaps its wings in one place, and weeks later, it can help shape a storm half a world away. Most people think this means life is just random, but that's not the real message. The real message is this: small actions carry enormous power, and that includes the ones happening inside you right now. In this video, we're going to explore 5 cosmic truths about chaos that will change how you see confusion in your life. You'll learn why scattered thoughts might actually be your brain's way of preparing for breakthroughs, why emotional ups and downs follow the same patterns that form galaxies, and why that restless feeling you carry, that sense you're meant for something more, isn't just wishful thinking. And I'm not going to leave you with just big ideas. After each truth, I'll give you 3 practical steps you can try right away. Nothing complicated. Just simple shifts you can make while you're making coffee, walking to work, or winding down at night. By the end, you'll see that chaos isn't the enemy of order. It's the process by which order emerges. Your most confusing, messy moments may actually be signs that transformation is underway. Scientists have a phrase for this: sensitive dependence on initial conditions, which really just means this: your starting point matters, but so does every tiny choice you make along the way. Life isn't fixed, but it's not random either. It's creative. You are living inside your own butterfly effect right now. Every small choice, every moment of kindness, every act of courage, it's all shaping what comes next. So let's dive in and discover the butterfly within your own beautiful chaos. Number 1, your inner storm has hidden structure. You know when your emotions feel like they're all over the map? One day you're motivated and ready to take on the world. The next day you can barely get out of bed. You're happy, then anxious, then excited, then overwhelmed, sometimes all in the same hour. Your friends ask how you're doing, and you don't even know what to say because it changes every 10 minutes. You look at other people and they seem so stable, so consistent. Meanwhile, you feel like you're riding an emotional roller coaster that won't stop. Maybe you've tried to fix this. You've read about emotional regulation, tried meditation apps, made charts to track your moods, but the chaos keeps coming back. You start thinking there's something fundamentally broken about you. Other people seem to have their emotions figured out, while you're stuck in this constant storm. Let me tell you about something incredible happening right now in space. There are these things called stellar nurseries, regions where new stars are born. From a distance, they look like complete chaos. Dust and gas swirling around randomly, colliding, spinning in every direction. It looks like a cosmic mess. But scientists discovered something amazing when they looked closer. All that chaos follows mathematical patterns. The swirling isn't random at all. It's following what's called strange attractors. Think of it like an invisible guide that keeps the chaos organized, even when it doesn't look organized. And here's the coolest part. That chaotic swirling is exactly what creates new stars. All that turbulence, all that apparent disorder, is actually the universe's way of gathering material and energy in just the right way to birth something brilliant and new. The chaos isn't preventing creation, it's causing it. Here's what this teaches us. Your emotional chaos isn't a sign that something's wrong with you. It's a sign that something's being created. Just like those stellar nurseries, your inner turbulence has structure, even when you can't see it. Your mood swings aren't random. They're your psyche gathering energy and material for your next level of growth. Your confusion isn't a problem to solve. It's the process of transformation. The most beautiful things in the universe are born from apparent disorder. When you're feeling all over the place emotionally, you're not broken. You're not behind. You're not doing life wrong. You're in your own stellar nursery phase, and something new is trying to be born within you. Those emotions that feel so scattered, they're raw material. Your job isn't to shut them down or organize them perfectly. Your job is to trust the process and give it space to unfold. 3 practical steps. Here's how to try this. Step 1, the chaos check-in. When you're feeling emotionally scattered, pause and ask, what might be trying to emerge from this chaos? Instead of fighting the confusion, get curious about it. Write down 3 emotions you're feeling, even if they seem to contradict each other. Step 2, the storm map. Draw a simple circle on paper. Write your current main emotion in the center. Around the edges, write all the other feelings swirling around. Don't try to make sense of them. Just acknowledge they're all there. This isn't about fixing anything, just witnessing your inner weather. Step 3, the creation question. Before bed, ask yourself, if this emotional chaos is preparing me for growth, what might I be getting ready for? Don't force an answer. Just plant the question and let your unconscious mind work on it. What if your emotional complexity isn't a flaw, but a feature? What if the people who seem so emotionally stable are actually missing out on the raw creative energy that comes from embracing inner turbulence? Think about the most creative, inspiring people you know. Are they the ones with perfectly consistent emotions? Or are they the ones who feel deeply, who ride the waves of human experience with courage and authenticity? What if your sensitivity isn't too much? What if it's exactly right for what you're meant to create in this world? Your chaos isn't random. It's creative. Number 2, small choices create massive changes. You know, when you feel stuck in patterns you can't seem to break? You wake up with good intentions, but by afternoon you're doing the same things, thinking the same thoughts, falling into the same habits that you swore you'd change. Maybe it's scrolling your phone instead of reading. Maybe it's staying up too late, eating the same comfort foods, having the same arguments with the same people. You look at your life and think, how'd I get here again? You try to make big changes. Completely overhaul your routine. Start 5 new habits at once. Dramatically transform everything overnight. But within a week, you're back to the old patterns. You start believing that change is impossible for you, that you're just stuck being who you've always been. The gap between where you are and where you want to be feels so huge that you don't even know where to start. Here's something that'll blow your mind. There's a galaxy that's currently on a collision course with ours. The Andromeda Galaxy is heading straight for the Milky Way. But here's the thing. It's moving toward us at about 250,000 miles per hour, and it still would take 4.5 billion years to get here. That seems impossibly slow for something moving so fast, right? But distance changes everything. Even tiny adjustments in Andromeda's path right now, changes so small we couldn't even measure them, will determine exactly where and how the collision happens billions of years from now. Scientists have discovered that the smallest gravitational influences, from stars, planets, even asteroids, are constantly nudging these massive galaxies in ways that add up to enormous changes over time. A tiny pull here, A slight shift there, and suddenly the entire future of two galaxies is different. Here's what this teaches us. Small, consistent actions don't just add up. They multiply. You don't need to overhaul your entire life tomorrow. You need to make tiny adjustments that seem almost insignificant, but compound over time. That 5-minute walk you take today might not feel like much, but if you keep taking it, 6 months from now you might find yourself training for a marathon. The trajectory of your life is determined by the smallest consistent choices you make. Your future self isn't created by dramatic transformations or perfect days. Your future self is created by the tiny decisions you make when nobody's watching, when it feels like it doesn't matter, when you could easily skip it just this once. Those seemingly insignificant moments are actually the most powerful moments of your entire life. 3 practical steps. Here's how to try this. Step 1, the 1% rule. Pick one thing you want to change and make it 1% easier or 1% smaller. Want to read more? Commit to reading 1 paragraph a day. Want to exercise? Do 5 push-ups. The goal isn't to stay at 1%. It's to build a consistency muscle. Step 2, the nudge list. Write down 3 tiny actions you can take today that point toward the life you want. Not huge commitments, just micro nudges. Text a friend you've been meaning to connect with. Drink 1 extra glass of water. Spend 2 minutes tidying your space. Step 3, the future letter. Write a short note to your future self 6 months from now. Describe who you're becoming through these small daily choices. Keep it somewhere you'll see it. Small actions feel more meaningful when you remember they're building something bigger. What if the boring, unsexy, tiny choices you make every day are actually the most powerful forces in your life? What if consistency matters more than intensity? Think about the people you admire most. Did they get there through one dramatic moment, or through thousands of small, steady choices that nobody else noticed? What if your daily routine isn't just what you do? What if it's who you're becoming? What if the smallest action you could take today is actually the most important thing you'll do all week? Your future is built one small choice at a time. Number 3, patterns emerge from apparent randomness. You know when your life feels like a series of random events that don't connect to anything? Bad things happen for no reason. Good opportunities come out of nowhere, then disappear just as mysteriously. You get a lucky break, then face an unexpected setback. It feels like you're playing a game where someone keeps changing the rules. Maybe you're trying to make sense of your career path, your relationships, or just your day-to-day experiences. People ask you what your plan is, and you don't know what to say because it feels like life keeps throwing you curveballs you never saw coming. You look at other people's lives, and they seem to have a clear storyline. College, job, promotion, marriage, house, kids. Meanwhile, your path looks like someone threw spaghetti at a wall. You start wondering if you're doing something wrong, if you're missing some secret to making life make sense. Let me tell you about something called the cosmic web. When scientists first started mapping the universe, they expected to find galaxies scattered randomly through space, like sprinkles on a donut. Instead, they discovered something incredible. Galaxies aren't random at all. They form these massive web-like structures, long filaments of matter, connected by nodes where galaxy clusters gather. From far away, it looks like a giant spider web stretching across the entire universe. But here's what's wild. No one planned this web. There was no cosmic architect drawing blueprints. It emerged naturally from the apparent chaos after the Big Bang. Tiny variations in density, microscopic differences in the early universe, slowly grew over billions of years into these beautiful, organized structures. What looked like complete randomness from the beginning was actually the universe organizing itself into the most elegant pattern imaginable. Here's what this teaches us. Your life has patterns, even when you can't see them yet. Those random events, unexpected turns, and apparent setbacks aren't as random as they seem. They're part of a larger pattern that's still forming. Just like the cosmic web, your life structure emerges over time through connections you can't see while you're living them. The dots only connect looking backward, but you have to trust they will connect looking forward. That weird job you took that seemed like a detour, it taught you skills you needed for your real calling. That relationship that ended badly, it showed you what you actually value and love. That failure that felt devastating, it redirected you towards something better suited for who you really are. Your life isn't a random collection of events. It's a web of experiences that's organizing itself into your unique story. 3 practical steps. Here's how to try this. Step 1, the pattern journal. Once a week. Look back at the past 7 days and write down 3 connections between seemingly unrelated events. Maybe that coffee shop conversation led to a work opportunity, or that canceled plan opened up time for something unexpectedly important. Step 2, the skill map. List 5 experiences from your past that felt random or difficult at the time. Next to each one, write 1 skill or insight you gained from it. Notice how these seemingly unrelated skills might be creating a unique combination that no one else has. Step 3, the trust exercise. When something unexpected happens this week, good or bad, instead of immediately judging it, pause and think, I wonder how this fits into my larger pattern. You don't need to figure out the answer immediately. Just practice trusting that there is one. What if there are no accidents, only patterns you haven't recognized yet? What if every detour is actually part of your direct path? Think about the most meaningful connections in your life. How many of them happened by accident? How many of your best opportunities came from unexpected directions? What if your seemingly chaotic path is actually creating a unique combination of experiences and skills that no one else has? What if your story only looks random because you're still in the middle of writing it? Your pattern is still emerging. Trust the process. Number 4, feedback loops shape your reality. You know when you get stuck in those negative cycles that seem impossible to break? You feel bad about yourself, so you isolate from people, which makes you feel worse, so you isolate more. Or you're stressed about money, so you avoid looking at your budget, which creates more money problems, which creates more stress. Maybe you've noticed this with your confidence. You doubt yourself in a meeting, so you speak up less, so people notice you less, so you doubt yourself more. Or with relationships, you worry someone doesn't like you, so you act awkward around them, which makes them act distant, which confirms your worry. It's like being trapped in a loop that feeds on itself. The harder you try to break out, the stronger it gets. You know you're doing it, but you can't seem to stop. You feel like you're sabotaging yourself, but you don't know how to change the pattern. Here's something amazing happening in space right now. There are these things called galactic feedback loops. When new stars form, they create massive stellar winds that push gas and dust away from their region. You'd think this would stop more stars from forming, right? But here's what's incredible. Those stellar winds actually trigger star formation in nearby regions. The pressure from the old stars compresses the gas clouds next to them, which causes new stars to be born there. And when those new stars light up, their winds push into other regions, creating even more stars. It's like a cosmic domino effect. But instead of knocking things down, each push creates something new. The same process that could shut down star formation actually amplifies it across entire galaxies. Scientists call this positive feedback, where the output of a system enhances its own input, creating exponential growth and beautiful spiral patterns throughout space. Here's what this teaches us. You can flip your negative loops into positive ones by changing what you feed back into the system. Those cycles you're stuck in, they work exactly like stellar feedback loops. The key isn't to stop the loop, it's to change what goes into it. If you're feeding self-doubt into your confidence loop, you'll get more self-doubt out. But if you start feeding small acts of courage into that same loop, you'll get more courage out. Every action you take becomes the input for your next action. The same mechanism that creates your negative spirals can create positive spirals. Your brain doesn't care whether the feedback is good or bad. It just amplifies whatever pattern you keep feeding it. You have more control over these loops than you think, but you have to be intentional about what you're putting into them. 3 practical steps. Here's how to try this. Step 1, the loop detective. Identify one negative cycle you're stuck in. Write it down like this. I do X, which leads to Y, which makes me do more X. For example, I procrastinate, which creates stress, which makes me procrastinate more. Just seeing the loop clearly is the first step to changing it. Step 2, the small input change. Pick the easiest point in your negative loop to interrupt. Instead of trying to change everything, just change one small input. If your loop is procrastination, stress, more procrastination, maybe your small change is spend 5 minutes organizing your workspace before you start avoiding tasks. Step 3, the positive feed. Every time you catch yourself in a positive moment this week, feeling good, being productive, connecting with someone, pause and ask, what did I just do that I could do more of? Then feed that back into your system by doing it again soon. What if you're not stuck in negative patterns? What if you're just really good at creating feedback loops and you've been creating the wrong ones? Think about the most successful, happy people you know. Are they people who never have problems? Or are they people who've gotten really good at creating positive loops? What if your ability to get stuck in cycles is actually a superpower? Once you learn to point it in the right direction, what if changing your life is less about willpower and more about understanding which loops you're feeding? You're always creating loops. Choose what you amplify. Number 5, your edge of chaos is where magic happens. You know that feeling when you're right at the edge of your comfort zone? Not completely overwhelmed, but not totally comfortable either. Maybe you're starting a new job, entering a new relationship, or trying something you've never done before. You feel excited and terrified at the same time. You might be tempted to either back away to safety or jump all the way into the deep end. Part of you wants to play it safe and stick with what you know. Another part wants to make dramatic changes and completely reinvent yourself overnight. But there's this uncomfortable middle space where you're challenged but not crushed, stretched but not snapped. It doesn't feel stable or predictable. You're not in control, but you're not completely lost either. Most people avoid this space because it feels unstable. But what if that instability is exactly where you need to be? There's this incredible phenomenon in space called the edge of chaos, the narrow zone around stars where conditions are just right for planets to form. Too close to the star, and any matter gets blasted away by stellar winds. Too far away, and there's not enough energy to bring particles together. But right at that perfect middle distance, something magical happens. There's just enough energy to get particles moving and colliding, but not so much that everything gets destroyed. In this narrow band of organized chaos, dust starts clumping together, then rocks, then asteroids, then planets. Every planet in our solar system, including Earth, formed in this edge of chaos zone. Too much order and nothing interesting happens. Too much chaos and nothing can hold together. But right at the edge between the two, that's where worlds are born. Here's what this teaches us. Your greatest growth happens at the edge of your comfort zone, not safely inside it or way beyond it. That uncomfortable middle space you try to avoid, that's your personal edge of chaos, where you're challenged enough to grow but not so overwhelmed that you shut down. This is where your best work happens, your strongest relationships form, and your biggest breakthroughs occur. You don't need to choose between safety and risk. You need to find the edge between them. Just like planets form in that narrow zone around stars, your new self forms in that narrow zone between what you can already do and what feels impossible. Too comfortable and you stagnate. Too chaotic and you burn out. But right at the edge, that's where magic happens. Most people spend their lives bouncing between comfort and overwhelm, missing the sweet spot entirely. 3 practical steps. Here's how to try this. Step 1, the edge finder. Identify one area of your life where you feel bored or stuck, and one area where you feel completely overwhelmed. Your edge of chaos is somewhere between these two. Look for opportunities that feel exciting but doable, challenging but not impossible. Step 2, the 70% rule. When facing a decision or opportunity, aim for things where you feel about 70% ready. If you feel 100% ready, it's probably too easy. If you feel 20% ready, it's probably too much too soon. That 70% sweet spot means you're stretched but not snapped. Step 3, the edge check-in. Once a day this week, pause and ask, am I in my comfort zone, my chaos zone, or my edge zone right now? If you're always in comfort, look for gentle challenges. If you're always in chaos, scale back slightly. Practice finding and staying in that productive middle space. What if the discomfort you feel when you're growing isn't a warning sign? What if it's a good sign? What if that nervous, excited feeling means you're exactly where you need to be? Think about the times in your life when you've grown the most. Were you completely comfortable, or were you at the edge of what you thought you could handle? What if playing it safe is actually the riskiest thing you can do? What if the edge of your comfort zone isn't something to avoid, but somewhere to live? Your edge of chaos is your edge of possibility. So here we are, and I hope you're seeing your beautiful chaos in a completely different light now. Let's recap what we discovered together. First, your inner storm has hidden structure. Those emotional ups and downs that feel so random, they're not broken, they're creative. Your feelings are raw material for growth, not evidence that something's wrong with you. When you're emotionally all over the place, you're not falling apart. You're in your own stellar nursery, and something new is trying to be born. Second, small choices create massive changes. You don't need dramatic transformations to change your life. You need tiny, consistent nudges in the right direction. That 1% improvement today, that 5-minute walk, that single kind text message. These aren't small actions. They're powerful forces that compound over time into entirely new trajectories. Third, patterns emerge from apparent randomness. Your life isn't a random collection of events. It's a web that's still being woven. Those detours, setbacks, and unexpected opportunities aren't accidents. They're part of a larger pattern that's organizing itself into your unique story. Trust that the dots will connect, even when you can't see how. Fourth, feedback loops shape your reality. You're always creating cycles. The question is whether they're lifting you up or bringing you down. The same brain that creates negative spirals can create positive ones. Change what you feed into your loops, and you change what comes out of them. Fifth, your edge of chaos is where magic happens. That uncomfortable space between safety and overwhelm, that's not a place to escape from. It's a place to live in. Your growth zone isn't somewhere you visit occasionally. It's somewhere you can learn to call home. Here's what all of this adds up to. You have the same cosmic rights as stars. You're allowed to be chaotic and beautiful. You're allowed to grow through apparent disorder. You're allowed to be a work in progress that's constantly becoming something new. The universe doesn't expect you to have it all figured out. The universe is constantly figuring itself out too, one small change, one feedback loop, one edge of chaos moment at a time. Your inner butterfly isn't something you need to find or create. It's already there, already flapping its wings, already reshaping your world with every tiny choice you make. As you go about your life this week, I want you to remember something. Chaos theory tells us that the flap of a butterfly's wings can change the weather on the other side of the world. But here's what I want you to really think about. If such a small creature can have such a massive impact on something as vast as global weather patterns, what kind of impact might you be having? Every kind word you speak, every small, brave choice you make, every moment you choose growth over comfort. These aren't just personal victories. They're butterfly wings in the complex system of human consciousness. What if your healing helps someone else heal? What if your courage gives someone else permission to be brave? What if your willingness to embrace your own beautiful chaos shows others that they don't have to be perfect either? You're not just living your life. You're changing the world, one small wing flap at a time. What will your butterfly wings create today?